Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to the Think Clinical Podcast. My name is Hamza. It's amazing to be here. We appreciate you all for everything you've done for us. We thank you for subscribing and sharing our content. It's been amazing, and it's been an amazing couple of months sharing all these information with you around healthcare and healthcare business. We are very, very grateful. So welcome once again to the Think Clinical Podcast. My name is Hamza again, and today we'll be looking at something very, very, very important around the space of strong, or how to build a strong professional network. Because the moment you decide as a doctor to go into health entrepreneurship, the next thing you should be thinking about is what network or what type of places and people should I be interacting with. Because as you know, when you talk about a professional network, you're talking about just a group of people, and this group of people share a common professional industry. So it could be healthcare, and it could be just a network of doctors. So whatever it is, you share some common interests, because and it could just be a group of business people. So even though you're a medical doctor, you actually find yourself in a group of people who are business minded, who are business people, because you're a medical doctor who wants to be in the business space. So you should share some common professional industry that you want, and this should be this relationship should be ongoing and should be maintained in such a way that there's constantly an exchange of information, there's constantly an exchange of ideas, and there's always room for support coming from those group of people that you find yourself with. So after saying this, you would have an idea by now that professional networks play a very important role as far as our growth as health entrepreneurs is concerned. And so you can look at professional networks in our space. So if you're a doctor who is looking to go into healthcare business or healthcare entrepreneurship, your professional network would include some of your colleagues. Your colleagues could be doctors. Your colleagues could be business people or entrepreneurs. Your colleagues could be doctors who are entrepreneurs. Your colleagues could be mentors. It could be people who have run businesses for so long, they may not have any idea how healthcare businesses run, but they have a lot of experience with how businesses should run, which are common principles that run through all industries. Your that circle could be industry experts. It could just be people who understand the industry so much that they are able to share with everybody and help people understand it the way they do. This could be your professional network. Now, when you look at this, you understand that without even saying it, there's a lot of benefits that you can get from a professional network. And everybody who, even if you do not decide to do health entrepreneurship, being in a professional network has its worth to you as a professional. And one of the big things that you get from a professional network is access to resources. What resources do you need? Do you need knowledge? Do you need equipment? Do you need funding? Whatever you need, the expertise to be able to do things that you don't have the skill set to do, or you don't have people on your staff to do, you are able to explore all these things without major challenges. Business development. Every professional network helps you, especially as a health entrepreneur, helps you to be able to develop your business. How do you brand yourself? How do you brand your business? How do you market it out there? These are things that you will always draw from different people and what their experiences have been like, what has worked for them, what has not worked for them. You're able to avoid the mistakes they made. You're able to adopt their successes, which may not work for you, but at least you start from a place or an idea that actually worked or has proven to work for someone in the past, so it's not a bad place to start. So these are some of the things that you need to look at as the advantages of being in these professional networks. The third thing I'll talk about is collaboration, which I think we, especially on the African continent, we do not do much of, because we tend to get into businesses and we want to run and build those businesses on our own. But we do forget that our skill sets are limited in different ways, and there's so many things that we should be doing that we're not doing because of the scope of our thinking as individuals. And if we just had other people or other partners or people we collaborated with, who had different skill sets. So let's say I went for a professional network and I met somebody who is really good and has built a wonderful marketing company. I do not have to go and sit down and rewrite my marketing strategy or my marketing calendar or whatever I need to do to get my business off the ground. I can collaborate with this person, or I meet a tech expert and I'm looking at going to healthcare technology companies. I can bring this person on and it does two things for me. It provides the motivation for the person as a partner to be able to, or as a collaborator, to be able to give his or her best or their best to the product, and also to be able to give some ongoing support as far as that product is concerned and making sure that it's sustainable. So collaboration is very important, because not only do you complement each other in your skill sets, you complement each other in resources, you complement each other in so many things, in your energy, in your time, in your day-to-day. All that amplifies how much you can do in a day, because doing it alone would not give you the capacity to be able to meet all those different items. The third thing we have to look at when we talk about this is the space of support. And when we talk about support, it's important because when you do not have support as a healthcare entrepreneur, it puts you in a very, very interesting place, because I don't think there's anybody who has gone through this journey and has not for a day looked back and wished that they had some support in the form of funding, in the form of mentorship, in the form of any form of support. There's nobody who has gone through in this industry without sitting back one day and requiring some support in some form. So this is very important as far as professional networks are concerned, because you meet people, and as I said, this network could include mentors, could include people who have done exactly what you're doing and have done it in ways that are probably different from how you're doing it, but have the experience to help you navigate the whichever stages you may be right now, or the initial stages of this. Now, they also offer opportunity for learning and growth, and if you are not ready to continuously learn and grow as a healthcare entrepreneur, it's not going to work for you. So these are some of the things that we have to strongly be looking at, and we have to know that these are easy, low-hanging fruits if you get yourself into the right professional network. And then we make certain mistakes, because when we are going into professional networks as clinicians, as doctors, the first thing is that we tend to focus too narrowly, because just like I said, I'm looking at myself as a doctor, so I'm looking for another group of doctors. Sometimes I don't even see myself as a business person. So if there's a business networking event or business networking group without doctors, I eliminate myself from that group, because I feel like there's that relationship I might not benefit so much from, because I've isolated myself or narrowed myself to one part of what I stand for, what I do, and I've forgotten that I'm building out a different side of it. So you can go to a networking group who have nothing to do with healthcare. You probably would be the only person who does healthcare, but the common interest you all have is in the space of business. It's the fact that you're able to share business ideas and help each other navigate business challenges. The second thing is we neglect online marketing as clinicians, and in this era of social media, digital marketing is important. It's important to be out there. It's important to build your brand on social media platforms. It's important for people to see you and hear from you and identify what exactly you are doing, but we often neglect those, and that is another very common mistake we make. We feel like networking has to be an in-person event, but now people even network over Zoom. We have networking groups who have never met each other before. Sometimes they don't even have their cameras on, but they have been able to build very, very supportive groups for their members, and they've been able to help people get through challenges and been able to support people through different stages of their businesses. So it doesn't have to be in person, it doesn't have to be a fancy dinner somewhere or a beautiful breakfast somewhere. It just has to include the ability for people to come together on one platform and communicate. And that's something we tend to do badly. We tend to focus very narrowly, so it becomes difficult for us to be able to tap the full potential of networking. And the third mistake we make is not following up after our initial conversation. If you remember very well, I said we talk about professional network. There's that component of an ongoing or maintaining an ongoing relationship with the person, which involves you exchanging information, exchanging ideas, supporting each other. It's ongoing. Now, we sometimes make the mistake, we meet, we talk, we shake hands, I take your card, and I wait for the moment when I think I need your help before I actually reach out. And I have met so many people in networking events whom I have assumed that I can only reach out to them when I need their help, and they have assumed the same. But when they reach out, sometimes it's difficult to even remember who they are, because especially if you are someone who goes and hangs out with a lot of people in different networking groups. So this has been a difficult thing, regardless of how we look at it. But when you join a networking group and a conversation starts, even if you don't need anything immediately from the person, they're in that group because you share common interests. So you should make sure you maintain that relationship, so that when the opportunity comes for you, and maybe that person might be even representing the opportunity to you, you need to keep that conversation ongoing. Now, if you are being too transactional in your networking interactions, so that's one very common mistake you make. People go in there and they are going to say, this is what I have and this is what you have, and how can we leverage each other? And that's not how networking is supposed to be. Very it's relationship based. We're not just there to seek out opportunities, we're there to build a genuine relationship with people. And whenever we say that, it sounds a bit cheesy to say, why don't you build a genuine relationship with people? But it's just you being there to chat with people, get to know people, and build a relationship with them. And then when there's an opportunity to go into something transactional, it becomes effortless. You don't even have to. And at that time, you trust each other so much that the process leading to that partnership or that collaboration doesn't become too strict, because you've grown to understand who the person is and what they stand for, and you've grown to trust what they can do. Now, the factors that actually limit doctors, and I'm using doctors because a lot of what I want to do is to help physicians understand how they can leverage what the skill set they have, especially if they're moving to healthcare entrepreneurship. But this can apply to everybody else. Is the fact that we have limited time. If you are working 12-hour shifts, 15-hour shifts, and what time are you going to use? Maybe 6 days a week. What time are you going to even have for your family and then have for networking events? So that's one very big limitation. So despite all the mistakes we make, there are also limitations to all of this. There's limited resources. People probably just don't have the money to travel to other cities or sleep in hotels and do. It's expensive to be in these networking groups, and your ability to keep up, even though if it's in the same city, even driving around and going to these different events comes at a cost to you. So if you don't have the resources to keep it up, that's also going to be a problem. The lack of awareness, you don't even know that there exists. You don't even know what's in your area. You don't know what's in your country. You don't know who to talk to or where to get into one network. So yes, it becomes a big limitation for you. And sometimes people just lack the confidence when they go to these events. So someone goes to a networking event and talks to nobody because they don't even have the confidence to walk up to somebody and say, hey, my name is this is what I do, or my name is this. Just finding a way or an icebreaker to start conversation with people don't have that confidence, so it limits them. So it's not, they know where to go, they go to the right places, but they don't have the confidence to explore the potential of those places. The last thing is the negative experiences some people have had in networking experiences. People taking advantage of them, people taking them for granted. So it leaves you with a scar that just chases you for the rest of your life. I'll just leave you with three tips to help you think about how to effectively network. The first one is the fact that you need, and that's you need You need to be on social media and you need to be active on social media. That's the first thing I'll leave you with, because it's very important. The second thing is you need to learn how to volunteer and attend industry related issues or events. So you need to identify all these issues, make the time, which is a limitation, and attend these events. You need to go. You don't need to expect anything from it. You need to look at them as relationship building exercises and explore them fully. And the last one is to follow up and just stay in touch. As I said, one of the mistakes people make is that they don't follow up after the first conversation. They don't maintain an ongoing relationship with anybody after the first encounter. So maintaining that and following up on that first conversation is the most important thing, and it's also very important. So once again, thank you so much. It's always great to hang out and talk about all this amazing stuff, and I hope you got something valuable from this. Again, remember to subscribe, like, and share, and we will talk again in our next episode.